Hi all and welcome back to today's video. My name is Thomas and I will introduce you to RPA orchestration using Camunda. If you haven't seen our standard product demo before, I would recommend to take a look on this first. If you have done so, let's start off with this video. As you might know, we as Camunda want to orchestrate anything. That's our motto. And of course, this includes RPA bots. When we take a look on the process below, you can see that we have various endpoints we can orchestrate using, for instance, business rules, APIs, or even human workers. And in addition, you can also think about integrating IoT services, microservices, or AI components. Last but not least, there's also the possibility to integrate to RPA bot or to multiple RPA bots using our bridge component, which comes with the Enterprise Edition. Due to this, you can orchestrate, of course, multiple bots from various providers. So you aren't limited to only one bot provider, rather you do have the freedom to have multiple orchestrated within Camunda. This provides an overarching view of your end-to-end process. For today's demo, we will have a in-depth look upon how the RPA bot from UiPath works together in such a process involving human work and various service calls. Now, let's take a look on a typical flow of how to implement and orchestrate bots within Camunda. So, of course, it starts off with Cavimo catalog templates. So these catalog templates are used in order to define a various behavior in the UiPath bot or for another RPA bot. You could also define element templates using these catalogs here. Afterwards, you can load these templates into the Camunda modeler in order to apply them to various tasks or activities. Afterwards, of course, you do not need to enhance your models technically further. You rather than deploy them directly to Camunda's process and decision engine right here. And then you can start orchestrating bots using the Camunda RPA bridge down below. This Camunda RPA bridge is a standalone component, a Spring Boot application, which works similar to an external task client. And this external task client has got various configurations, for instance for UiPath, but other RPA vendors are coming soon as well. This bridge then allows the communication between Camunda's process and decision engine to the actual UiPath package and UiPath bot or other RPA bot. Due to this, you do have the overarching overview directly within Camunda available. So you can still use Camunda's Cockpit in order to trace what's going on in your systems and to have a process-wide overview of what's happening at the moment. In order to guide you through this demo, I would like to start off with Cavimo once again. So right in here, let's take a look on the process we want to discuss in today's demo. And that's, as you might know, the customer onboarding process used in our standard product enterprise demo as well. Right in here, we have added an additional path, and that's an exclusive gateway where we check whether RPA is needed because we have such a legacy credit score retrieval system where we do need to run an RPA bot over some kind of green screen application in order to scrape the actual score. And only afterwards we can continue with our process. So now let's take a look on how we actually can configure Camunda in such a way that it works with an RPA bot at this specific step. By having defined a new catalog template, we can start off implementing those or filling them out. So for an example, let's take a look on the register user template. There we do call a certain UiPath package in order to run the registration of a user. As you can see, we have a typical template name, we have some kind of service task label, so on and so forth. You can add some description, variables, and most importantly, you do have the possibility to actually choose some kind of implementation type. For instance, your automation anywhere is possible as well, or an external service task. And on the other hand, you then need to register the package name from your iPath. Besides of these fundamental configuration possibilities, you then continue by adding some input and output parameters. Afterwards, you are already done here and can use or can publish this template in order to make it deployable within Camunda's modeler. You can also take a look on the JSON file, which is generated underneath. So right here, there's the actual source of this template you do see in this editor. Nevertheless, let's go on within the modeler. In the desktop application for the Camunda modeler, you now have the possibility to select a certain service task and apply a catalog template to this certain task. When you open this, you have then the possibility to synchronize between Cavimo and Camunda's modeler, and there you can then apply various templates. For instance, if you would have a mail task, you would go with such a template or with the register user template right here, and this then automatically fills out all the relevant informations which are then used by the process engine. And that's already all you need to do in order to deploy a process using various RPA bots in Camunda. Afterwards, you then can simply hit this button in order to deploy your diagram to the process engine. Now let's open up the Cockpit application and take a look on our deployed process. In the meantime, we can fire up Camunda's RPA Bridge, which is a Java application which can be easily started from the command line. Having opened the Cockpit application, we now can see the actual deployed process model, including the RPA task. Now let's take a look on the task for our RPA bot. Therefore, we have such an applicant credit score lookup system, which still uses a green screen application. So the specific task for our RPA bot is to scrape this credit score lookup and paste some information into there. For instance, we need to fill out the applicant name, the birth date, the employment status, and the selected package in order to retrieve our credit score. Error messages can also pop up. In order to handle this task, we have defined a UiPath project which has the following workflow included in it. I won't go into depth here since this is another technology stack, and this simple workflow is then used by the RPA bot in order to scrape our past information into our system. Besides of this, we of course have such an UiPath automator where we have several processes deployed to the engine, so the bot works just fine. Now, the only thing we need to do is to start these processes, these workflows from UiPath using our Camunda application. Let's see how this looks like. First of all, let's kick off a new process instance from our well-known demo application. Right here we do have the Camuntilia, a fictional telephone corporation, once again, which is often used in our standard product demonstrations. So, of course, I want to buy the super high-speed internet option. I want to enter all my credentials in here. And now I can choose to toggle the RPA path, and I want to go into the yellow path. And now I can actually send this application request to Camunda and invoke it with the RPA bot. Let's do so. After having switched to the cockpit, we can now see that we have got one running process instance which waits for the RPA bot to pick it up. Taking a look into the process instance, we can actually see that this one is ours. We have just started now. We do have the self-employed Thomas, which is me, going for the premium package. So yeah, let's see how now the RPA bot handles it by picking up the request within the Camunda RPA bridge. On the RPA machine, we are now going to see that the actual bot is invoking our green screen application in order to retrieve some information. Let's wait for a second and see if it works. Here we go. Now you can see that the bot has opened our green screen application and is now going to enter all the details into our application in order to retrieve the credit score. Afterwards, the window is closed again. Back in our Camunda cockpit, we can see that the active process instance has now moved on to the yellow path. And we also can see that we have got the credit score of 93, which was submitted by our previous application. Cool. That's how the RPA bridge works with Camunda. If you have further questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment. See you in the next video. Bye!